Welcome to Digital Fitness Tech Talks by Neoteric. It's the first of the series of interviews with tech entrepreneurs from the fitness industry, and we are looking to create a platform to exchange knowledge and ideas in this buzzing environment. And today, my first guest is Ewa Wysocka. She's a serial entrepreneur. She runs two businesses, and Ewa, really nice having you here today. I understand you've got two hats. On one hand, you run your digital marketing agency. On the other hand, you are one of the co-founders of a online yoga portal.
Thanks for the invitation, Darek and Neoteric. One of my companies is a digital marketing growth agency called Stripe 47, and this is where we are working with several different businesses that are operating within fitness, yoga, wellness, and very often they actually provide digital subscription products where they share either trainings or know-how or diets. So we do have experience of working with that industry, and as you know, probably it's really growing nowadays, especially after or during the pandemic, when people were locked at home, a lot of people were looking digitally for solutions.
So that means that your agency is very busy.
It's busy, yes. Well, luckily, it's being at the good spot. So I feel lucky because of that. And a second business of mine is called PortalYogi, and it's a Polish digital yoga platform. It's like Netflix, but with yoga sessions. And that one was also very busy during the pandemic because a lot of people couldn't go to yoga studio or couldn't really explore other opportunities to do fitness. And again, they started looking virtually for solutions. And actually, we had a very busy and good year at PortalYogi. And that's how we actually started collaborating as well. So probably we're going to talk about it today too. Great.
So really nice to have you here. So can you tell us a bit more about the situation in the market? Obviously, the pandemic hit a lot of industries, but I think that maybe fitness in particular because of the nature of the business. So what has happened through the last year, and how have the businesses responded?
Yeah, of course. Obviously, my perspective will be somehow subjective, right? Because I'm looking at businesses that come to us or the businesses that I run. And right now we've got May 2021. So that's also interesting because we are, at least here in Poland, at the moment when the world is slightly opening. So I can already talk a little bit about the whole phase, the whole trend. Last year, 2020, around the same time, and especially even between March and May 2020, that was the time when we seen the biggest boost of demand when it comes to digital fitness, digital wellness. It also happened to food catering industry, for example, which is also somehow between the clients that we serve.
So it's a very early stage that in the pandemic development that people already started looking.
Yeah, it was the moment when people first time had to face being locked, and it happened like worldwide. People started searching for something to do, and they started to be more concerned about their health. So we could see it. And a lot of new users came in. I mean, I can observe in my PortalYogi business that, wow, we were like, whoa, we are doubling, we're tripling. That was amazing. And the good thing was that we actually were ready for it. And I think the first trend that I was observing was that a lot of businesses were actually not ready for that. It's definitely easier to be ready when you have an online business versus when you have the offline element, right? So if demand for your kind of physical product is really growing and you don't have enough of this physical product, then you're in trouble. But when you're a digital business, it feels like, well, you should always be ready to just sell more. But from the like digital infrastructure stage, actually a lot of businesses were not ready. They were not ready to scale their marketing campaigns, which is something I take care of through my agency business. But sometimes they also were not ready to serve the biggest demand of their users, right? So on the product level, like we started adding a lot of content to the yoga platform, and that's when we realized like, wow, now we have so much content, people are really busy on a platform, and maybe from the technological standpoint, we're not really serving these users well enough because we're not helping them to choose the content, find the right content, and do all the other things. So I guess that was first test, you know, a lot of businesses experience a higher demand, but not necessarily were ready, you know, to serve that demand.
So in some sense, you've been ready for the luck that came.
Yeah, I was ready. Actually, a lot of my clients were ready. So that means my agency did somehow good job. We can always do better job, but at least our clients were ready from the infrastructure standpoint. They had systems in place to scale up advertising, to scale up lead acquisition, to process a new amount of people that were coming in. So that was good. But I've seen many times businesses that were like knocking on my agency doors, like last year between March and May, like, hey, help us, you know, because it's this pandemic and we need to grow and we don't know what to do. And very often I would look at it and I would say like, there's just too many things to do, you know, no time.
So you have to focus on something.
Focus on something, or you know, be like systematic in terms of building up your presence online. It's like when the opportunity comes, like this pandemic for the health and wellness industry, like it's better you're ready earlier, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. So you know, now 1 year through the pandemic, and I think that, you know, the lockdown is starting to ease in many countries. Where are those businesses, that, you know, those successful businesses from your point of view?
I can say that definitely some more challenging times are coming. Like we can observe it right now in a lot of subscription platforms that, like last year, we really took a lot of clients in, but the retention work is something that has to happen because, you know, people right now are not locked anymore at home. Like they're starting to go out. Yeah, so. There is a lot of work on like convincing clients to stay within these solutions because now they're going to have more opportunities. Of course, you know, the world is shifting somehow, so probably there will be some balance between like handling some of your needs in the digital world and some of your needs in the physical world. But as a product, like, and as a brand, like you have to somehow convince your new customers to stay with you, even though the world is changing, right?
Yeah. So there's all this talk about the hybrid model, where, you know, now, you know, previously maybe you had a lot of people that were doing activities offline. You know, they were forced to do it online. You know, now they know the experience, and now the challenge is to keep them in both worlds.
Yeah, probably some of them will leave anyways, right? But like the good news is a lot more people open up to the idea of using digital solutions. Yeah, like we can see it in e-grocery world, we can see it in online fitness. Yeah, so it was a great positive boost because some people who are somehow like hesitant towards like living part of their life in the digital world, they kind of open up to it. Yeah, but there will be some setback for sure. I mean, I can already tell, right? It's a beautiful weather, at least in this part of Europe, and people are going out, like places are opening up. So we're gonna lose part of the clients, but this is a chance to really strengthen our value propositions so we can still keep some of them and hopefully get more and more, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And what are the trends in the digital marketing space that companies should watch or follow?
Wow, I mean, recently everyone is talking about changes, right, to Facebook and iOS and how it's affecting. We actually just had a training about it with our team. It's still about, to me, being as much as you can not dependent on one channel and like really building your infrastructure. If you're a B2C business, you have to be constantly like professionalizing your digital marketing ecosystem. That's how I see it. I mean, we say that there are some fundamentals that as a professional digital business, you just need to handle. You need to have a couple of things checked off your list. You need to have a website that is well optimized from the conversion standpoint. You need to have some tools to constantly look for the higher average order value. You need to have some retention mechanisms in place, and you need to know how to work with your team around that. And on the other hand, you also should have some basic marketing automation set up in your business. If you don't have it, then you're definitely missing out on something. And I see it all the time. Like, some businesses just don't have it. It feels like a just ready playbook. Like, hey, you need to have marketing automation, but some businesses don't have it set up. And this is leaving money on the table. You need to be ready to work with more than one advertising platform, and you need to have some skills of working with advertising platforms. Facebook is getting harder now. Google also will start getting harder soon. Cookies will disappear. Yeah, this world will be just getting more complex.
By harder, do you mean that more skills will be demanded
more
from
skills,
people doing
attribution
marketing?
is getting harder and harder, also because of the changes to the iOS, and there's lots of skills there that if you're just not opening this book even, then you will need to do it at some point. So, you know, like, so just summarizing, you need to have like systems in place to optimize conversion, average order value, and retention of your customers. You need to have some at least basic marketing automation in place. That includes email, SMS, probably if you're an Apple, so some notifications. And you need to be ready to play with different advertising platforms. Like, I'm not even mentioning content marketing here, but I think that's also obvious. You need to know how to play on different content platforms in an organic way, on different like social channels. You need to have some at least basic know-how on the SEO, and you need to know how to position your site, your content. So you need to be doing all this. If you're not, like, you're just not getting ready, you know, and it will be very hard to scale your business. These are just fundamentals.
So when thinking about, you know, the hot trends, your message is rather, you know, make sure that you've got the basics covered. That's where you
that's
see
my message, because, you know, there are going to be always some hot trends. And I mean, I can maybe mention that from like more detailed know-how about working specifically with the content-driven fitness apps. So I'm talking about apps that deliver fitness trainings, yoga trainings. There is one thing that we observe that maybe it's a little bit more specific. I don't know if it's a hot trend, but we see that there has to be a merger between this kind of evergreen processes, like things that are set up in your business and, you know, that are constantly in place, acquisitions on different channels, marketing automation, like optimization. But you need to merge it also with interesting seasonal campaigns. There's like tons of different seasonal campaigns that you can choose from if you're a B2C business. The most common ones are obviously discount, but I wouldn't say like this should be your only thing. But if you're a content-driven business, like, you can be coming up with many different seasonal topics. You can be engaging people around challenges. You can be doing some like new content releases. You can be building up campaigns about new trends and new themes. You have to be constantly coming up with some novelty to get your users interested and to get their attention back. It's like Netflix, you know, if there was no more new movies, you probably will stop watching it. Yeah, like, this novelty is like what attracts you to the platform. So actually this really works for the fitness and yoga and wellness apps that are based on content. You need to have new content all the time, and you have to have new initiatives around it.
So I understand you stress the importance of communication, not just to, you know, new potential users, but also existing.
Yeah, existing, new ones, right? People who are hanging out around you but are never really ready to jump in. Like, this new exciting thing can be the reason why they would jump on it finally, right? So this kind of a merger between evergreen campaigns and this launch seasonal campaigns is something that we observe. and it is important to have it if you want to be successful in growing such content-driven fitness wellness apps.
Mm-hmm. And beyond marketing, where do you see the tech trends in the fitness industry? What is it, in your view, important trend happening at the moment?
I think it's maybe narrowing down to the apps that I know the most that are driven by content. I see that helping users to explore, find, pick the right content is the trend. With a lot of the platforms and businesses that we're dealing with, there is a growing amount of content that is really landing on the platform. Even in this PortalYogi business, that I'm not so involved in the day-to-day work there, but I know that every week we are recording new content. So, coming back to 4 years back when we started, the amount of content is really, really much bigger. There's tons of videos, and users are getting lost, especially new users when they're coming in, they want to choose the right thing. So this is where I see the technology can really help, and AI can probably help too, right? By helping users to find the right content fast, because if you want to charge for that, just content is nothing, right? Mm-hmm. From the technology standpoint, I think helping users to choose, select, verify the right content is I think still a topic, even though it sounds simple, but it's not that simple really. Yeah, you're right. And in Future Institute, they create a map of trends, and for this year, they predict that AI, is moving from very innovative thing to to thing that is becoming slowly, fast actually, the new normal in the industry. 1, 2, 3 years from now, everybody will be using that. So it's becoming less of a novelty. So that's great that you're bringing this topic. Okay, and from the perspective of of Yoga Portal co-founder, where I know that previously you started your business, you've been using Teachable as a platform. Can you tell us a bit more how it started? Why did you choose that platform? So, it was, the idea of a business was to create a platform where people can practice yoga at home with pre-selected teachers, where we're creating really user-friendly content. We're putting a lot of different yoga styles into one platform. And that was my feeling, and I think I was right. We don't really need to be very tech savvy to get started. So we used one of the ready-made solutions. The one that we are using is called Teachable, but there is plenty of other ones like ThinkFit, Kajabi, I think even more. There's a lot of different apps and platforms that allow you to quickly start your content-driven business. And we just focus on content, good quality content, on building the community, growing the brand perception, but we really didn't think so much about the technology. And I actually thought it was great because this platform allowed us to scale. It allowed us to scale to over 15,000 members. And I think at the peak we had even around 18, so it was all fine. But as I said, with a growing amount of content, it started to be less easy for people to find the right thing, to really browse through it, etc. And even looking at the Teachable, I follow their one of their co-founders or CEO on LinkedIn, and they were I just noticed that they were sharing what are the results of different businesses that are on Teachable, and majority of these businesses are somewhere between 100,000 USD to $1 million USD revenue a year. So it's really small businesses. So I think it's fine, until you get your first million, then you can still stay on it. But if you want to grow ahead and you want to build a bigger business, more scalable business around it, I think unique technology and a chance to be more somehow responsive to needs of your customers, it's important. So at the beginning, I understand
basing on the ready-made platform allow you not to focus on the tech side of things, but on content, on growing the business.
Community brand, and it was fine. And I'm still a big fan of saying that if you actually have an idea for such business, like don't start with the technology, start with getting the right idea. There's a lot of pre-made solutions out there. But if you already have users and you're in conversation with them and you know what they need, then it's actually pretty fun to build a platform. And that's what we did. Like, we got a lot of feedback from the users, and then we went to you and we told you what our users want, and your team helped us to develop a solution that can now be a true upgrade for our users, right?
Yeah, so understand that at some point, the existing tech stack is not sufficient, and then there is the decision, let's build something custom. Yes,
that was our journey. It was really coming from the feedback of users and some things that we could not do on Teachable for them. There were a couple of very easy features, like creating your own playlists of content, to some more advanced things like customizing, for example, the first screen or the content that users see once they enter the platform. So these are easy and more advanced things that we know our users would like, or creating for them a chance to build their profile within the platform that has more options where they can save more information. Like all these things we could not do with pre-made solution like Teachable. And we knew from them that they would like it. So.
And when did you know that is the right time to do the move?
I think we knew for over a year, but before the business started really growing, maybe we were not so ready. It's also some investment, time investment, some commitment that, hey, we're gonna really keep building this platform, because I don't think it's gonna be just built and left. We really will need to grow it. So once we reached some certain level of revenue, then we also felt, okay, there's potential, so we wanna invest in technology now, and it seems like a good decision.
Okay, so I understand that this need has been growing for some time, and then you were waiting for the right moment financially, and let's make the move.
Yeah.
Okay. One of the aspects, working on your platform, it's still in the making, but what we noticed is, that you get interesting approach to building the product, because it seems that you are involving a lot of community of existing users in the process of building the application. Can you tell us a bit more about how you're doing this?
Because actually, one of our unique selling points of this yoga platform is a community. So we're delivering content, but also from the start, we're trying to build a community of users. We're not really sophisticated with that, actually. We're from the start just using a simple Facebook group, which was closed, and where we were adding all the paying members. And we put actually a lot of effort and some money and some dedication to moderating this group, to making sure it's alive, to making sure that, whenever people ask questions, it's answered by professional yoga teachers. So there is a really thriving community online of people who are using the product. So actually, if we just said there that, hey guys, we heard your feedback and we want to build a new platform, there was tons of people who were like, hey, that's great, we want to help you. And they were happy to jump on a call to give some feedback. They want to go into some focus groups with us and share. And whenever we're discussing if we want to build some feature or not, Marzena and Magda, who are two leaders of the community, they're just posting it in this Facebook group, and they're just getting tons of feedback. And people are so involved because they're involved with a brand. So if we didn't have this community beforehand, probably we wouldn't have this good feedback right now. So it's some sort of implication of it.
Okay, so I understand, should other businesses have such community, it would be a great idea to involve them.
Well, I always recommend to add this kind of community leg to your membership product. If your product is built as a membership, if you want to have users prolonging your subscription, I think a community is a very important element. Yeah, and of course, some people don't want it. Some people just want to use content and they want to have an easy access. But like from my experiences, there will be from 30 to even 40% of people who are using your product who will be interested to at least somehow be a part of a community where they can get their questions answered, where they can get a dose of motivation to still keep using the product. Especially in fitness, motivation is a big thing. So I guess that's helpful. If you know other people are also doing it, like you're more willing to do that too. So yeah, I mean, definitely. And if you have this community, then building your own product is much easier because they can help you out, right?
So what benefits do you see involving the community?
Well, right now it's hard to say because we're still in the process of building the product, right? But hopefully what I'm hoping is that we're going to avoid some terrible mistakes, yeah? That we will not build a product that people later going to say like, oh my God, what is this? Like we want to come back to Teachable. It was better. And we just want to avoid that. And like we're doing it to keep them involved and to keep them as part of the community and obviously to keep them engaged with a product, right?
And do you think that it can also boost their loyalty later on? They have a product that maybe they feel a part of, that they've been involved.
Always the reality is just like some group of people, yeah. So those people who are really getting so massively involved is probably like 1-2%, yeah. But all the other people, they see that we are being very open, and that also creates a little bit of our brand values, right? So our values are about being community driven. It's also a perception of our brand, and we've always been like that. We're not based on one guru personality. It's a lot of yoga teachers. It's a lot of people. So involving people in building technology also aligns with a brand communication. So
sure,
makes sense.
And when you think about building a digital product, what is your approach to building a great product?
From my experience, it was always about content and community first, and technology second. Yeah, so that's kind of my approach. But and that's what I always advise to different companies who come to me and ask me. But obviously, it might also be driven by technology. Like that's probably where your experience is bigger. Yeah, as Neoteric, you guys sometimes work with companies who seek technology as the main differentiation point. But I think it's these three things that people should think about. What's your content, what's your community strategy, and what's your technology, right? And these three things going to be very important elements of a digital product that is driven by content, right? So there are going to be these three elements to think about.
So, once the decision is made, okay, we want to build our own tech. Where do you start? You're not a technical person. You don't have experience building.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I wanted to say. It depends. If you're a technical person, you know what to do. But if you're not, then then it's harder. Maybe there was also one of the reasons why we didn't approach the topic earlier. Yeah, because we are not IT people. I mean, I understand technology and my partner as well. From a basic standpoint, we know what we need, like we're users, but definitely like I wouldn't say that I can, for example, hire the right people to build such technology. And I think that these costs could kill me. Plus, I wouldn't be able to really verify the work. So for us, it was about finding the right partner. And it also wasn't an easy thing because there's lots of stories about choosing wrong partners. So finding a right partner is for sure some journey. And we found you, and we're happy so far. But we'll see, because I think there's still a lot of things ahead of us. So the launch of a new app, and then of course optimizing it and adjusting to the further needs of the users. I mean, probably like my way of choosing partners is a lot based on relationships, and we knew your company for a long time. Like we cooperate, we knew what you guys are doing. There's lots of things that I knew that made me somehow trusting. There was a process that you guys took us through that also allowed us to get to know your team and the developers on your team, to see how they think, to understand that they're actually quite business driven, not just like developers who only code and don't listen to the perspectives, don't see the big picture of a project. So that was pretty cool.
So you wanted a partner who can not just do tech but understand the business.
Yeah,
like
to understand the business, understand the project, be able to cooperate with my team. Yeah, that's also something, because there are some benefits in the collaboration here, right? Because my team, like, they know the product, they know users, they have tons of know-how, right? So, and a team from your side, right? They know the technology, they know what's possible, what's not, they know how fast it's gonna take, etc. So this collaboration, I think, is the power here. I mean, I always believed in the power of team. So I guess this is about creating a strong team, that can collaborate, understand each other, and really build a great product together.
And by this process, I understand that you didn't jump into a big project from day one, but you had...
Yeah, we did a workshop with you. Like, I mean, I wasn't there. Actually, my partner was. Like, she was very happy with it, and it allowed her and other people from the team to get to know your team. Yeah, so. And they also had, like, judged based on this, because the workshop was nice, like the collaboration was good, it was creative, it was really, it was very actionable. So based on that, they made a decision that, hey, maybe it's good, let's do it. It's a big investment, but let's do it,
Okay, so that means that workshop is something that is advisable, to begin with.
I mean, I also own an agency, and I always do it. Not just because I think I would advise it to my clients, but also me as an agency, I want to get to know my clients before I sign up for a 5, 6, 8 months deal. I think it's some part of doing business nowadays. You want to do it with people you have some flow with, and you need to discover if you have this flow. So I always recommend going for smaller projects in the beginning to understand, like, how do you actually collaborate, and if there is a good team spirit and we can do things together.
And I understand that it might be difficult to judge it from a written proposal.
I think it's impossible to judge it from a written proposal. I mean, it all depends, of course, what's your business values here, but if you like to have some pleasure from the collaboration, you probably want to have an experience of working with.
And through this process of deciding that we're going to build the platform, how it's going to look like, do you think that such a workshop is an important part, not just the selection of the...
I think, I mean, again, I wasn't there, but from the feedback of my team, they said it gave them some clarity on, how it will be to build a product, like what going to be the necessary features, what are the things that maybe we could do later. Some initial product testing with our users was also a part of it, so that was good. Like, we had some initial, proof of concept, and we knew that, okay, that's interesting for our users. So yeah, I mean, there was many benefits, and I mean, I would always recommend to go for something like that. Before you sign up for the full project, right? Yeah,
because it also is a bit of validation for you. Okay, do we really want to build this product? Let's do the workshop, and we're gonna feel it better. The decision will be much easier.
And maybe sometimes you're actually gonna say, like, no, I don't want to do it. I mean, in our agency, we also have that phase. And sometimes after this workshop, people say, like, I don't want to do it anymore, it's too much work. Yeah, I'm like, okay, great. Great, you're saying it right now. Yeah, because like thank God we didn't sign up for a 6-month deal and then you decided it's too much work, right?
Yes, or the client will be like half motivated, half demotivated to engage.
Plus, again, it's a psychology of engagement. Like, if you engage me in creating like this product scope, like I just gonna be more collaborative later on.
Yeah, and you don't, jump into marriage from day one you met a person. You maybe go on dates.
Some people do it, yeah. I wouldn't, yeah.
Okay, so what would you advise to a founder of fitness business that wants to invest in tech? What would be your top advice?
Think what you want to do. Yeah, if you think about these 3 things. Yeah, think about like what's your content, what you're going to be giving out there. Think about like, are you willing to build community around that product? And the third one, like, what's the role of a technology here? Like, are you just using technology to deliver your message, or is technology here the main differentiation point? Like making something easier that wasn't possible before, gonna be your main thing. Like, basically, I always advise it to all the businesses. Like, just think about what's your like unique selling proposition. Like, what's different about you, and how you're gonna transfer it into the product.
So what you have in offer that others don't, and how you're serving the needs of
and
clients.
Then if you want to break it down, break it into content, community, and technology. And like, I find it quite interesting to play within these 3 elements of a digital product. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I like this analogy, the triangle.
Yeah. And think which one is your main leg, or maybe all of them should be at some point, but you're going to start with something and ignore a little bit the other, right? It's very difficult to be strong on all those 3 legs, yeah. So you're going to start with something, and then with time, probably you're going to have to be strong on all these legs, yeah. But start somewhere, think how it's different than others, think who's your competitor as well. Good to know, because maybe someone is doing what you want to do and they do it so well that you cannot really do it better. So then maybe you should revert and think about the other idea. So I always say, like, fundamentals, who's your persona, who's your competitors, and how your product stands on these 3 legs. And you're going to be fine, or not.
Time will tell, yes,
Yeah.
but it's definitely interesting times that we live now. And I think the industry is now through this shift. So let's see how it goes. Ewa, thank you very much for the interview. It was really a pleasure having you here with us.
Thank you.
Well, all the best with your digital agency business, but at the same time with the portal.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll be growing and will be well received by the users.
Hopefully. Thank you so much. Thanks.